This is Dave Tate. I'm here with Dan Green. I first want to thank Dan for all the support that you've given Elite FTS with your gym purchases. He is the owner of Boss Barbell. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It's a training center in, where's it?
It's in Mountain View,
California. I knew California, but I didn't know exactly where in Mountain View, California. And they focus on sport training, personal training, and powerlifting as well, and work with a range of clients from very beginners. Do you work with kids?
I actually just had like a 13-year-old girl sign up, so we have a couple teenagers, and this will be the youngest for sure.
All the way up to advanced lifters. So we're going to talk about a few different topics here. I want to talk to him a little bit about his business, because a lot of people who get into the sport, or a lot of people who are listening, would want to start their own gym. And as you're going to find out real quick, it's not always what people think it is. It's always not the fun and the glory that they think. So how long have you been open? I know you've been training for a long time, but how long have you been open?
Yeah, so we basically signed our lease in 2012, and then it took about 10 months to get it open. So 2013, summertime, the gym opened, so it's been almost 3 years, not even that long.
What would you say that you'd be comfortable saying, because I know when you have a business, there's a lot of bullshit you got to go through. What would you say was one of the most frustrating parts that you've had throughout the first few years of being a business?
I would say that there are a lot of challenges, but I wouldn't say that they're all frustrating. First, kind of the business plan we wanted was to get a place that was big enough to do everything we needed to do, and cheap enough and close enough, which is basically mean we had to compromise in terms of fixing the place up a lot. So the contractors killed us.
Yeah.
That's a major headache. But as for actually running the gym, I think the tricky part is there's a lot of people that, they want to kind of get over on you in terms of, maybe just coming and promoting stuff at your gym and kind of taking advantage. So you have to sift through the people who are, who are there and it's a good thing, or the people who are, just kind of there to capitalize and then they're gone. So that's been a frustration, because a lot of people want to be your friends, which is awesome, but then a lot of people it's not really the same as as you would expect it to be.
One thing that I found being a business, and we're getting close to 20 years now, are your friends are usually the first ones that are going to write you a check for the membership. Your real friends. The people who come to you saying, hey, give me a free year, that's kind of like an indicator that maybe they're not exactly the supportive friends that you thought that they were. So that's obviously something he's nodding in agreement that we agree on. So the takeaway for you guys that are listening is to keep that in mind, because it does make a difference as you grow in a business, who your friends are going to be and who they're not going to be. And as you know, as soon as you start a business, you're automatically making $250,000 a year the day you open the door, which is, another challenge you have to overcome.
I think it was actually the other way around.
Exactly. It is the other way around. And another takeaway I want to put in there, because you mentioned the contractors, is when you started the work with the contractors, did you negotiate a cap on their overages?
No, it's just the problem was they were going to start putting some stuff in, and it just wasn't it was gonna look kind of bad, and we wanted to get better quality stuff. So when we wanted to change stuff, it was like every little change that they took, they kind of spun it around to make it cost more, whether we were putting stuff in or we were taking stuff out. Suddenly it would cost more no matter what.
So a takeaway there is
contractor math.
Yes, contractor math. Always budget in some type of overage cap that they can't go over, because that kind of forces them to have to keep things in line.
Not to mention a timeline would have been good, because that.
Yeah, that's not.
But that's how it goes.
Sorry, we had a website that launched 6 months late. that was a fun time. With the training that you do, I'm sure that most people think that all your clients are powerlifters. What would be your answer to that?
Yeah, before we have the gym, I've been a personal trainer for 9 years, so the clients that I have, I've had actually 3 of those clients since the very first year I was a trainer, so 8 or 9 years, and they're basically middle-aged, and they want to be fit and stay healthy. So I don't think they're trying to go to the Olympics. They're just they're just trying not to kind of see, obesity and some of the health things come along, and they want to feel good. So the interesting thing is when you train people that are sort of that kind of basic fitness, you actually have some things in common with when you're trying to train with, cutting edge performance athletes, because one of the best strategies is for them, they really care about not getting hurt. But for performance guys, keeping them healthy is one of the keys. I mean, you've got to get stronger in sort of that like short term, but you've always got to add all that up in the long term by staying healthy. So it's fun to push hard, and the young guys get away with it more, but the key is to push hard enough, but to keep them healthy so they can just start stringing together training cycles. So it works well. It's sort of a takeaway from, these average people that they don't really care how strong they get.
Yeah.
The first thing you don't want to do is hurt them. It's not good for business. So.
No, not. One thing that I've seen from you out of a lot of interviews that I've watched and doing some research for this interview here is you're very grounded. Would you say that grounding in part comes from that you are working with the general population, and when you see them break a PR, even if it's just like 100-pound bench for 10, and you see the same, in other words, it takes you back a little bit to when you first started powerlifting and you were able to squat 400 the first time, instead of the focus always being around guys who are shooting for all-time world records.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the fun is when we look at people in the gym, I don't really care if it's the guy who squats 800 pounds or the guy who squats, 200 pounds. If the drive is there, the passion, that's kind of what gets exciting. Somebody who's really talented but doesn't care that much, it's not that exciting to train them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's, very motivated, even if they're, just the scrawny guy who you can't really recognize that there's the potential there. I think, anybody that was willing to work, they make their PRs, and it's exciting for them, for me. So, and I think for me, what's cool as a coach is a lot of times these people don't recognize their potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really like a cheerleader in terms of like trying to pump people up and get them excited to lift. I'm more motivational in just how I basically try to get people to believe what they're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that means kind of tricking them into doing stuff that, they wouldn't have thought they could do. A lot of the women, I'll tell them like after they lift what the weights were. They seem to do better when the ego isn't kind of a distraction. They get psyched out by some of the numbers. Guys always want to know their numbers before they lift, but the good thing is, you can sort of direct them in their training. They don't ask questions, at least they don't kind of question you, but they want to know what's going on. But you can sort of lead them, and over time, when they get those positive results, you explain why it happened and what do they do to get that result. And they start to understand that you believed in them before they did. And then when they see the results, they get excited. Of course, anybody becomes more intrinsically motivated once they see the PRs kind of start to stack up.
So from that, I would assume that you have a very high retention rate as far as your clients go.
Yeah, the good thing for personal training is I've had most of my clients for years. So I'm not usually, when I was first the trainer, it's like the stress of meeting a new person and sort of wanting to impress them, and at the same time, them potentially being like psychotic.
Yeah.
And just, you don't want clients that you're going to lose sleep over the fact that you're going to be training them the next day. That's not very fun. So all my clients are great, actually. I love all my clients. And the nice thing is now that the gym has kind of been around for a little bit, most of the people that come in for personal training actually want to get specifically coached to lift better.
Yes.
Which is very new to me, because mostly before it's like I want to lose weight, or typical kind of fitness goals. But now people actually want to come in and be taught how to squat and deadlift, so it's pretty cool.
All right, well, I want to thank you for the interview. This was great information. And if you want to get a hold of Dan or you want to check out his training facility, what's the website?
It is bossbarbell.com.
There you go.